Okay. Okay, let's guys. Let's start today's session. Okay, Hadoop cluster. Okay, what is mean by Hadoop cluster? Okay, cluster is nothing but a combination of nodes, right? What is mean by node? Cluster is nothing but a combination of nodes, right? Combination of nodes. What is mean by node? Node is nothing but a one computer. Okay, so cluster is a combination of nodes. Okay, that means each cluster. See, if you are having at least more than two plus nodes, we used to call it as a cluster. Okay, cluster can be form n number of nodes. Excuse me, n number of nodes. Okay, and this cluster in the real time world, okay, how it is going to be in the real time world, cluster will be formed in a different geographical locations, different geographical locations, by taking a BCP, business continuity plan, in mind. Okay, BCP, business continuity plan. What is meant by business continuity plan? Something is happening in one geographical location due to some kind of earthquake or some fire, something happening. So the business has to be continued, okay, without any without any delay or without any damage. Okay, because of that, while forming the cluster, people, I mean the administrators and the higher level group people will take into all this consideration and they will form the cluster. Okay, all this entire cluster will be communicated through the network, right, as usual. Okay, okay, so here the cluster is going to be formed with the number of switches also. What is meant by switch? It is not like the switch which we are using. Okay, switch. Okay, let me show you in the Google how the switches will be. Okay, Cisco switches. Okay, okay, see, like this, these are the switches, right? You know, right, the switches, the modem, we used to call it as a, okay, big kind of switches will be there, and those switches are, with the switches, these nodes will be formed together and call it as a cluster. Okay, here in the switches we do have, see, if you can see here, let me take the pencil. Okay, here if you can see, there is a rack. See here, these are racks also, it is available, right? Rack 1 and rack 2, rack 3, rack 4, and number of racks, and these are interconnected with the switches. These are the rack related switches. These rack related switches again interconnected with the main switches. See, they are maintaining two switches here in the up, and each and every rack is having a one more switch. Why they are maintaining these switches and all is to get the high availability. What is mean by high availability? High availability is nothing but, if something happen, any network crash or anything happen at any given point of time, cluster supposed to be available for our use. Okay, cluster supposed to be available for our use. Because of those considerations, everything has been constructed, okay, in a very well mannered. That means if something happened to one switch or different something at any given point of time, our cluster supposed to be accessible and you supposed to be get the data. Okay, because of that only they have formed in a, based upon switches and all. Okay, then coming to the racks. Okay, rack is nothing but a storage layer. Each rack, okay, it will contain number of nodes. Okay, in terms of nodes, you may have name node, data nodes as well. Okay, that means in the Hadoop cluster, as I said, right, it will follow the master slave architecture. Okay, master and slave architecture. Let me, master slave architecture. Here, master slave. Okay, here master node is nothing but name node. Okay, slave node is nothing but data node. Okay, data node is nothing but a slave nodes. Okay, and in the name node, okay, all metadata is going to be stored in the name node in terms of fs image. Let me clear this. In terms of fs image and edit logs. Okay, what is mean by fs image and what is mean by edit logs? Okay, now we'll come to the architecture part, master slave architecture. Okay, that means master is going to be controlled, all the slaves will be controlled by the master. That means master will give the instruction, slaves will follow and they will do the task. Okay, here master is name node, right? Name node is nothing but a master, data nodes are nothing but a slaves. Okay, and if you see in the diagram I have given tt, that is nothing but a task tracker, and see here job tracker, tt and jt. Okay, these are all the main important topics. Okay, task tracker and job tracker. How job tracker and task tracker will take the instructions, those will be take the instructions by name node. Okay, once the name node once the name node has given the information or a related work to the task tracker and job tracker, those things will be executed through the jvm process. Okay, each and every mission, see as I said it's a node, right? Each and every mission will contain the jvm process. What is mean by jvm? Java virtual machine. If you're having little bit Java knows, okay, that is nothing but in our computer, whatever I am explaining, right, in the laptop we are having the CPU processing and all, right? The same way the memory, RAM and all, and once you have inserted anything, it is going to be run, right? In let's open this my task manager, right? The processor. Okay, this is my task manager here. Okay, in the task manager what are and all currently it is running? Google Chrome, Microsoft Word and Paint, right? More details if I can get it. See, this is the one. Okay, this processes. Okay, all these processes are running, right? CPU utilization, memory, disk, network, everything it is being shown here. The same way how it is running through the process, right? That process is nothing but jvm. In the cluster also we do have a jvm to 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 do the work which has been given by the user here, which has been given by the name node. To do that work internally, there is process will call, the process will run. That process is nothing but jvm process. Here in the data node, see here job tracker which is related to the name node. Okay, and the task tracker, each data node will contain one task tracker. Okay, that means whenever whenever master node instruct that, okay, what is the use of data node? Usually data node will store the data, right? Data node's responsibility is just to store the data in the hdfs file system, Hadoop distributed file system, in terms of blocks, right? So let's say data node 1, let's say dn1, data node 1 will have some 100 blocks. Okay, and my input file abt.txt is around 4 blocks. Okay, in these 4 blocks data node 1 may contain my second block, nothing but b2. Okay, if I am reading my file from Hadoop cluster by using the read commands, okay, whenever I just through the client, actually this is Hadoop cluster, right? Here also we do have the edge node concept. What is mean by edge node? Edge node I will explain. Okay, through this edge node, okay, that means whatever whatever I am running my process through edge node as a driver, first it will communicate to the master name node, boss I want to read my input file abc.txt. Okay, then what name node will give? Name node will give the your metadata information about your input file, where the data has been stored. Okay, That metadata information, once a client has been taken, then it will give the instructions to the respective data nodes wherever the data is resides. Okay, wherever the data placed in the data nodes, once it goes to the data node, inside the data node, as I said, task trackers will be there, right? That task tracker will take that work, and this B2, in our example, this B2 information, it will collect and it will give back to the job tracker. That means all these tasker and job tracker will be communicated each other. Once the work is done, this job tracker will collect all the information about your input file. Then that will be sent back to the name node through the driver. Then the driver will work about your task, like just whether you are just reading or you are doing any updates or any modification. Based upon that, that output will be stored, will be shown to you through your edge node console. Okay, because of that only we are mentioning here data node with the task tracker and job tracker along with the racks. This entire thing we used to call it as a Hadoop cluster. This cluster will be maintained by the administrators. That means health check, everything will be controlled and monitored by the Hadoop administrator. If something is going wrong, so Hadoop cluster, okay, they will get the, who is going to get the alerts? Administrators. Okay, this administrator will take into consideration based upon the alerts and they will act accordingly. So job tracker and task tracker, and we do have the yarn architecture also, that I will explain later. As of now, in the high level, just you can imagine that we do have a job tracker and a task tracker. Okay, these things will be handled by the entire Hadoop cluster. Okay, whenever you have given any work or anything, internally the way how this our CPU process task manager, whatever I have shown, right, is going to work the same way. There also things will be worked out. Okay, okay, any doubts here? I will just give you a pause, just a bit a pause.
Yeah, so Dini, regarding that secondary node, what is the functionality of secondary node and when it will use?
Yeah, that I will come to, I will explain later, I mean in the today's class only, but you can ask the questions related to this
Oh,
the topic. Okay, that is also a big topic. I will explain. Just hold for a while. Okay, you will get the answer for regarding secondary name node.
So I was confused. You said D1 has 100 blocks,
Hmm.
and then also it's D1, DN1, and B2. I'm confused what that.
Okay, just what I mean to say here is, okay, let me open another paint and I will explain. Okay, you need to understand very clearly about this. That is nothing but Hadoop distributed file system, that is HDFS. Okay, see, entire Hadoop data will be stored in terms of HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system. The way how our files are being stored in the Windows in a NFS, the same way in a Hadoop cluster, each and every data will be stored in the HDFS file system. That is nothing but HDFS. Okay, Hadoop distributed file system. How it is going to be stored? Okay, in terms of blocks. As I said, right, Hadoop is to handle a very bigger size data, bigger size of data. Okay, so the block size will be configurable. Block size, I will explain very clearly. It is based upon the version 128 MB. Previously, initially, whenever Hadoop has been started with a 1.x, that is nothing but a previous version, it is having 64 MB of data. It will consider as one block. Okay, nowadays in the 2.x and 3.x, that is nothing but version numbers, don't worry about that. We are maintaining 128 MB of data. 120 MB as a one block, sometimes 256 MB. Okay, what is mean by this block size? Let's say I will give you very clear example on this spot. Okay, let me draw a diagram. Okay, Yeah, see, this is my block. Let's imagine this is my block which is having in my data node. Okay, data node 1, I can say this is my data node 1. Okay, in my data node 1 I do have different blocks. See, nothing but this data node 1, you can imagine your laptop. Okay, in your laptop, okay, you may have C drive, D drive, E drive, right? Drives, that is nothing but separations, and you are gonna store the data in terms of files, right? Files. And in Windows it's a NFS system. Okay, the file system we used to call it as a NFS. Okay, NiFi file system, something like that they used to call it as. Okay, your data is going to be stored in terms of how it is going to be stored. Let's open any file here. Okay, in the downloads, what is this size in terms of how it is being stored in terms of KBs, right? My file is being stored in the Windows system in terms of kilobytes, KBs only, right? But in the Hadoop, it is going to be stored in terms of blocks. Nothing but each block is containing 128 MB or 256 MB. As of now, you can just imagine it is a 128 MB. Okay, 128 MB of data. We used to call it as a one block. Okay, let's imagine, suppose, okay, my input file is having 500 MB. Okay, what you are doing is you have requested your Hadoop cluster bus. I am having my 500 MB file, name it as input.txt. input.txt. Okay, this is my 500 MB of file, input.txt. You want to copy to your Hadoop cluster. Okay, that means while copying, what it will do, it will slice your data. That means this 500 MB will be divided by your block size. Here, what is the block size? 128 MB. What exactly, how much you are gonna get it here? 500 by 128 MB. What is 3.9, right? Approximately it is 4 blocks, right? Each block will contain 120 MB. 4 blocks you are gonna get it. I will explain 4 blocks. Let's imagine these blocks are nothing but B1, B2, B3, then B4. Okay, these are the your input file blocks. Okay, while writing into Hadoop cluster. Okay, this B1, as of now, just forget about replication factor. I will come to that. Okay, B1, it might have, see, this is my D1 data node, right? In D1 data node, what it is gonna have it, all the blocks. What are the blocks? This is my DN1 data node 1 file system, and these partitions are nothing but blocks. Okay, my DN1 will contain C drive, E drive, D drive, like that. The same way here the entire file system will be segregated in terms of blocks. Okay, these are my block informations. Okay, let me complete this. Okay, this is my DN1 block information. This block, let's say this B1 related to my B1 for my input file. Okay, it is going to store this, my B1 is going to store in this portion. Okay, and this is nothing but this address, IP address, or I mean to say metadata address, is nothing but for this is what is this here? This one, what I mean to call it as DN1 my input data, input.txt / B1. This is the address. Let me drag down. Okay, this is the address. Okay, in the like this, the metadata will be stored. That means the first block information only stored here in the DN1. What about the rest of the things? All this, that will be stored by these things. All these things, all other block informations might be stored. Okay, might be stored by other input files. Let's say other input file B1 or B2 or B3, let's write it. B3 may stored here by the other input file system, but my input file input.txt first block has been stored in data node 1. What about the rest of the blocks? Rest of the blocks will be stored in a different data nodes. That is what I said right here, rack awareness. And once again I will explain in the figures also. Rack awareness with the input file system. Yeah, see here my file is having block A, block B and block C, right? See here, block A and block C. Through the client, first it will communicate to the name node. Okay, name node, what it is gonna give? Name node will give the metadata information saying about that. Okay, first client through edge node, client will communicate to the name node. Boss, I am having one input file which I would like to write into your Hadoop cluster. Okay, give me the data nodes where I can place my file. Like that it will ask. Then name node, what it will do? It will give the data node information. Okay, let's say data node 1, data node 5 and data nodes 6 are available. Okay, you go and write your block information. See in this example, file.txt, I am having block A, block B and block C. Okay, all these things is been placed into, see here, block A placed in data node 1, block B placed into data node 5, block C placed into data node 6, right? Once it has been done, it will communicate to the name node saying about that my task is done. How it is gonna communicate? Through the heartbeat signal. Every 3 seconds, I said right, heartbeat signal will be communicated by data node to the name node. Okay, once the work is done, once the write operation has been completed, it is gonna communicate to the name node saying about that my work is being done. Then this name node will update the will copy, that means will store the metadata information. For what purpose? Next time once you store the data, you need to process it, right? Once you save the data into database, after that as per the business logic you might need that data to retrieve back, right? At the time you are gonna send the same through the client, you are gonna request name node, boss name node, sometime I have already saved my data, right? So give me my data back. Okay, through the read operation. At the time name node, based upon your input file name, it will get the metadata information and it will give the client, boss your data is reside on black data node 1, 5 and 6, go and take. Okay, then this task trackers will be initiated. That task tracker will execute each node and it will club together the data. That data will be shown to you through the console. And how it is going to recognize for each and input file? Based upon your input file name. And is that possible to save same input file, same name in the system, whether in a Windows or anywhere? Let's say I am having my file is file.txt. Are you going to store same file.txt in the same directory? No, right? It is gonna say that the file is already exist. Okay, you want me to replace or you can rename it, right? Like that it will ask, right? You might have been observed that. So based upon your input file name, based upon the metadata, it is going to write the data into data nodes. Okay, in the data nodes again there will be a segregations. The data node is nothing but a computer only. It will have huge data, huge storage, C, D, E, F, G, H, like that drive names, but here we are just calling as a blocks. Okay, data node 1 may have 100 blocks, as I explained here. Where is that diagram? Here data node may contain 100 blocks of storage information, but my input file occupied only one block in that. That is nothing but B2 block. Clear? I still need explanation.
Yeah, so Rini, one point. So when we have file, based on file size, the block will create or block already been created and then just
No.
based on file that
No.
placed. Okay.
Yeah. See, the thing is blocks will be there already. Blocks will be segregated based upon your block size. That is nothing but 128 MB or 256 MB. Okay. Once your input file is going to be placed, blocks will be there. Those will be sliced up based upon your block size. That will be stored in the available blocks. And what about the rest of the data here? See here, 500 MB, 128 MB, once you have done, it's not coming exactly 4, right? 3, then some portion of data, right? That also will be treated as a block and it will store in a different block. Let's say instead of 128 MB, how much I'm gonna get it here calculated. Let me calculate again and exactly I will tell you. 128 into 3, 384 minus 500. 116 MB of data I'm having extra, right? So this 116 MB of data, it will be stored in another data node. Okay, let's say here it is gonna store and it is what the block is 128 MB, but something will be left over, right? The space, unused space. This will be used by other data. Okay, other data, or it will unused. This entire space will be unused, but there is a mechanism called, whenever we run the some kind of space related matrices, it will, what it will do, this space also will be occupied. That I will tell you once we started the practicals, how it is going to be utilized. There is a concept of AR, okay, Hadoop, HAR, Hadoop archived file system, and all we are having it. That I will tell you later. As of now, this block is 128 MB, but 116 of data will be occupied here. The rest and all will be unused. Okay, that will be used in a different way. I will tell you later. Okay, and blocks will be already the blocks, nothing but based upon your input file size, based upon your block size. The block size is configurable. This 128 MB is a configurable. That means you can change it to 200, 300, 400 also. That means whatever you are coming, based upon that your blocks will be already created in the file system. Okay, already created in the file system. Once the input file comes, then it will store in terms of blocks. Okay, this will be created based upon your configurational parameter, not based upon your input file size. That is nothing but config files are we are having. I will show you once in the practical start. I will show you hdfs-site.xml is the configurational file. Core-site XML file. All things will be controlled by through the XML files only. In these XML files, we do have the properties. HDFS block size is the property name. HDFS dot block size. Block size we will maintain in a KBs equal to, this is the property name, and we need to mention your block size information in terms of KBs. Okay, KBs means 128 MB KB, 128 MB we need to convert it as a KB, and that number you have to mention here in the XML file. Okay, I will show you that as well. Okay, that means what I want to say, Manoj, block size will be predefined based upon your configurational parameter, not based upon your input file. Suppose if you want to process very bigger size input file, but you want to process it as a bigger block size. Let's say 1 petabyte of input file, you want to store it 1 petabyte of thing, but instead of 128 MB block, you may need 1 GB. Okay, then you go and configure this HDFS block size in a 1 GB, so that your 1 petabyte of GB will be sliced, each will be sliced as a 1 GB. That will be stored in the blocker information. But we need to be very careful, right? Once you store that much of data, while processing also it will take time. Because of that, the ideal scenario is they have suggested 128 MB or 256 MB. Even in 3.x configuration also, they are storing as a 256 MB max. But still again, it's a configurable. If you want, you can change that. And as of now, we have just stored 4 blocks. But what about replica? As I said, Hadoop is a single point of contact failure, and it is a fault tolerant and high availability. What is mean by that? That means at any given point of time, here the rack awareness algorithm I already said, right? Little bit. See here the rack 1, rack 2, rack 3 and rack 4. Okay, and the data will be 4 blocks. If you apply the, here 4 blocks are there. If you apply the replication factor, again that replication factor also configurable. That will be stored in hdfs-site.xml file only. Tomorrow I will open the software, everything, and I will show all these configurational parameter, where to go, where to see. Okay, under etc folder all configurations will be there. I will show you each and every configurational file, and those properties, and I will explain those properties in very detail. If you change those properties, what it is gonna change in the cluster. Okay, see here 4 and 3. 3 is a replication factor. 12 blocks will come. All these 12 blocks by applying the rack awareness algorithm. What is mean by rack awareness algorithm? This is clear, right? How it is going to be, right? See here, because of the rack awareness algorithm, what it will do, all the copies, okay, it is not gonna place your copy. See, just example, guys. You are having a very value or very important documents. Let's say your marks memos, okay, your certifications, okay, your certificates. What you are gonna do it, you are gonna do the originals will be placed somewhere, and you are gonna use the Xerox copies, right? You will copy as many as you want, and you are gonna use it. The same concept here, but Xerox and original will be treated as the same. Whenever Hadoop cluster receive the input data while copying, what it will do, it will apply the replication. That means it will do the Xerox of your data, let's say in terms of blocks. My input file may have a 3 blocks. Just imagine 3 blocks. That 3 blocks, it will be applied as a replication factor. Again 3 is there, right? 3 into 3, 9 blocks will be created. All these 9 blocks will be placed in a different racks and different data nodes. Okay, to get the parallelism, to get the parallel processing, and it will be distributed among the cluster. That means it's not gonna place in a same data node or in the same rack. But by applying the rack awareness, see here, if you take an example here, the, I don't know whether it is it visible, or let me enlarge this. Okay, see here in the rack awareness algorithm, what it's happening. Oh my god. Okay, see here, A, B, C he is having, I am having A, B and C. Or let me copy this, okay, in the paint, so it will be easy. Okay, here, see, I am having A, B, C as my input blocks. A, B and C. A, B, C. Okay, A, comma, B, comma, C are my blocks. Okay, that is nothing but I may have 128 MB into 3 around. See, 3 blocks input size, input.txt file. It is having around 396. Okay, 396 MB of data. 496 or 398. Don't go for the exact calculation. Once I have done 128 MB with my block size, I am getting 3 blocks. That 3 blocks are nothing but A, comma, B, comma, C. Okay, this A, B, C and all, how it is going to be stored here. See here, this is my rack 1, this is my rack 2 and some another rack. Okay, A, just see the A here it is stored, and A is stored here. What is mean by rack awareness algorithm? By using rack awareness algorithm, as I mentioned here, never lose all data if entire rack fails. Keep bulky flows in rack when possible. Assumption that in rack is higher bandwidth, low latency. You know the meaning of latency, right? The response time. So by using rack awareness algorithm, while placing the input file, what Hadoop cluster will do, I mean especially name node will choose the data, I mean that metadata. See here the metadata information file text. I will show you in this one only, it's not visible clearly. See here, see rack 1, data node 1, data node 2 and data node 3. Okay, then rack 5, data node 5, 6, 7, and the metadata is like this. See, block A, first block is my A, block A where it is storing data node 1, data node 5 and data node 6. See here, data node A, see it is in data node 1, then 5 and 6. That means at any given point of time, okay, one copy will be placed in a different rack, rest 2 will be copied in a same rack in a different data nodes, not in the same data node. At any given point of time, your data block is not going to place in a within one data node. It is going to be placed in a different data nodes. Those data nodes may reside in one rack or other racks, but rack awareness algorithm will take care that it is not gonna place same block information in a same data node. Okay, that means two block information will not store in a same data node. It will store in the different data node within the same rack or different racks. Why? Because if something is happening, let's say here data node here, if it is getting crashed, rack 9 if it is getting crashed, what about the data? Whatever placed in the rack 9, entire data nodes in rack 9, I may have 100 nodes. What about the data which has been copied in the 100 nodes? So I may lose the data, right? So to not lose the kind of data, they do apply the replica along with the rack awareness algorithm. So the rack awareness algorithm will make sure that I am not gonna place any copy of data within the same rack or within the same data node. Okay, I may place within the rack in a different data node, but I will keep third copy as a backup. Okay, like the way how we are gonna do our certifications thing, certificates of your educational thing. I may have original copies in my bank locker, and based upon use Xerox copies I can use for further purposes, right? Your DL, what you are gonna do, the driving license once you get, we are gonna do the copy, right? Duplicate copies we will make it. The original one we will keep it in our our safeguard place. Rest and our DigiLock, whatever digital lock or whatever, we are gonna place that, and rest and all we will copy it, and we are gonna making use of that, right? One we will place in your vehicle, one other will be in your packet. Okay, like that we are gonna use it, right? The same concept also will apply in the Hadoop cluster. Okay, the copies, the original data copy will be copied in somewhere, and the duplicate is nothing but the copy also will be shared in the racks. Okay, if something happened at any given point of time, I may not lose the data. You may ask, suppose if you both rack 9 and rack 2, rack 3 also it costs, there is no other way. So you need to bear the impact. Okay, but in the real time it's not happens, right? All time everything will not go down, right? If it is goes down, no work for us, right? So administrator will take care about that. So this is nothing but inbuilt Hadoop rack awareness algorithm will be taking care about your high availability as well as a fault tolerance concept. Okay, clear? Any doubts or any questions here? I will take a pause. Okay, now we'll move forward to the name node data node responsibilities. I hope I already cleared, and regarding the secondary name node also, as I explained, all these things will be done in terms of metadata file. Whatever it is gonna happen in the entire Hadoop cluster, it is going to be updated in terms of metadata file system. Okay, metadata file, and we used to call it as a FS image and edit logs. Those are the main files. Okay, will be available in the Hadoop cluster. Okay, in name node. Okay, name node is going to maintain all this FS image and edit logs. What is mean by FS image? FS image is nothing but a copy of your metadata. See, as I said, name node is responsible to store the metadata information. Nothing but guys, just imagine you went to the library. Okay, you went to a library. You want to choose one book. Just you want to take one book. Let's say some kind of Harry Potter fictional story. You want to read it. Just you want to take that book, and you went to the librarian. And boss, I need this book. Where can I find that? What librarian will do? Just don't go for olden days. In the nowadays, okay, in the latest library which has been set up with the entire systems, racks, everything and all. Okay, if you go there, what he is gonna do it? Just imagine and tell. Have you been there to library at least nowadays? I don't think so. People will go to the library, but just imagine and say, if you go to the library, if you ask for any particular book, what librarian will do? Guys, any answer? That is going to directly going to go and give, or is going to check in the system, and once he got the info, then only he will go there in a particular rack, or he is going to search entire library? How? What? Okay, yeah, just forget about the library concept. Okay, you need one medicine, let's say COVID vaccination. Let's say, just imagine COVID has been given to the private sectors also. It is like a small tablet. Okay, if you go to the any medical shop, if you ask for any particular medicine, what the shop guy will do usually? Anyone
You
can
will go
answer.
to particular row.
How you will go
You
to
will
the
go to particular rack and will
how you will go to the particular rack?
He'll just look up the name in the system and he'll get all the information, which rack, which place it is, and then he goes directly there and pull out the medicine.
Exactly right. The same concept here, same concept regarding your input file also. Name node is nothing but your shopkeeper. Okay, shopkeeper. He knows where the entire data is reside in terms of racks, in terms of blocks. Okay, whenever you are gonna request through the client to read the file, name node will know about where the data is there. Simple example, the shopkeeper, how he is going to the particular rack, particular shelf, particular box. Same way, your data also is being stored in terms of Hadoop file system. Whenever you are asking, okay, to read the data, this name node will give that particular metadata information. All this information we are carrying as a metadata. Okay, that is nothing but, let's say, data node. In terms of data node 3, that is nothing but IP address, some IP address 9.192.10 something like this. Okay, and that, okay, which block information are rack. Okay, or first it will come to the rack 1 particular data node. In this again some kind of segregation will be there in terms of blocks b1, then your abc.txt file, one portion like this. The metadata will be updated in the input, I mean in the fs image file. Okay, what I mean to say is, all those information as a metadata, it will be available in fs image. Okay, and what is mean by edit log? Edit log is nothing but, as I explained previously, okay, fs image like a full file, edit logs is a partial file. Usually this fs will not write directly. Okay, how it is going to write? Fs image return, this is my fs image file, this is my edit log. First, whatever you are doing in the cluster, whether read or write or update, whatever you are gonna do it, first it will write into edit log. Once this edit log file capacity has completed, or in a 15 minutes, okay, every 15 minutes, okay, once this fs image is done, what it will do? It is gonna write into your fs image file. This is my fs image file. Okay, every 15 minutes interval, this is gonna write like this. Okay, fs image, okay, like this. It is gonna, fs image is the one, the bigger size file. Okay, it is gonna place the your edit log information. This fs image is having all your cluster details, like what you did, at what time you logged in, all the logs will be captured here along with your main metadata information. Okay, that means the master node is responsible, or master node will contain fs image and edit log. Okay, if something is going wrong, okay, how you are gonna do it? Okay, let's say something crossed. Okay, this name node itself is not being accessible. Okay, if name node is not being accessible, what you are gonna do? Your entire cluster will not be accessible. Why? Because each and everything is dependent on your fs image. If you don't have FS image information, okay, your system will not be accessible. That means instructions to the task tracker and job tracker, instructions will be given by the name node only. That is master. If master is not exist, slaves don't know how to perform. Okay. And if you remember the movie, like later, I mean, in some movie regarding the terrorism acts, okay, sleeper cells are there, right? Sleeper cells will be active only if the master send a message, right? Once they send the message without thinking or without doing anything, they will act accordingly, right? In one of the movie, they used to get the message from the master sleeper cells. They will be, those people are will be just like our, I mean, normal people. Whenever they get the message, they will act accordingly. They will do bombing or something like that, right? The same concept here also. These slaves also will act as a sleeper cells. If you don't have any master instructions, sleepers will not do anything, right? Because of that purpose, master is a very crucial in the Hadoop architecture. Okay, if master is getting down, okay, in that movie also Tupaki, I think in Telugu, in Hindi I don't know which movie that is. Okay, uh, uh, so the hero want to destroy that master actually to not send any sleeper cell. It's very difficult to find out the sleeper cells, who are sleeper cells and all. But instead of finding sleeper cells, if you find the master and if you kill that guy, so instructions will not pass to the sleepers and nothing will happen. Like that, he will think and he will kill that master actually in the movie. The same manner, if something is happening to the master, the sleeper cell, I mean, the slaves also will not work. Because of that purpose, what Hadoop cluster is going to do is they have come up with the FS image file and edit log concept, and they have come up with the secondary name node concept. That means if something is happened to the master, okay, if it is getting down, secondary name node will act as a master. Okay, secondary name node, how it is gonna act as a master? By default, it is not gonna act as a master. They need some manual intervention. What is that manual intervention? This FS image file. Okay, what it will do in the cluster information, this FS image files and edit logs will be shared every 1 hour of interval. There is some, that is also configurational file information only. They will share that information. I mean, master node will share that FS image related information to the secondary name node. Okay, secondary name node will have only this FS image related copy backup. It is not gonna instruct anything. Just it will have a copy. That's it. Every 1 hour that FS image will be copied to your secondary name node. If something is gonna happen, administrators will perform some commands and they will activate the secondary name node as a name node. Okay, until that time your cluster will be accessible. Okay, if something happens, but there is some outage also, it is required here, some 10 minutes or 15 minutes. After that, the cluster will be active. Later on, they will fix the name node related configuration and they will again share that FS image to the name node and it will act as a master node. And what is the responsibility of secondary name node is in terms of maintaining FS image and edit log. I think I am having a very clear detailed picture here about your secondary name node. Wait, pipeline, right? Okay, replication, span, name node, replication, yeah, secondary name node. See here, the file system metadata. The file system metadata is nothing but in terms of FS image. See here, not a hard standby for the name node. Connects to name node every hour. Again, star symbol. It's a configuration. Housekeeping backup of name node metadata. Saved metadata can be rebuilt a failed name node by using this one. Okay. That is the responsibility of secondary name node. And replication. As I said, right, replication, how it is going to affect. See, this is the one. Multi-block replication pipeline. How it is going to write. This is the way. If you see block A, see here, block A, it is having copied here, here and here. Block B, 2 copies here. And at any given point of time, one rack will have two block information in a different data node, not in a same data node. In a same data node, you can't find one particular file, two different blocks. Only one block will be allowed to copy in one data node about your block, your input file. This is the imaginary concept. Multi-block replication pipeline. How replication is going to be act. Okay. This is FS image and edit logs concept. I will show you the FS image and edit log file also. And I would like to just give a brief question to you guys. Okay. What happens? Let's say as of now I am talking about, and one more thing is a scaling. Yes. Any doubts?
Srini, I have one question. This is Anjan.
Yes, please. Yes, Anjan.
So when you say like when master node, I mean name node, master name node is down.
No.
So you said like that administrator will give an instruction and make the secondary name node as active,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So once the administrator or someone else fix that master name node, right?
Yeah.
So how the data will be, whatever activity is being performed by secondary name node, right? So how it will be passed the information back to master name node? I hear that you said like there will be every 1 hour there will be two directional
Yes.
backups, right? So it will, the master name node always after the fix, right? It will wait for an hour, and then it will take whatever activities being performed will be taken from secondary name node, or it will be done as soon as the name node, master name node is active, it will immediately administrator will send the backup information.
Exactly. See, your question itself, it is an answer actually. See, what I did, there is some manual intervention required. Administrator will give some commands, right? So that time what they will do, that 1 hour, whatever the interval, that commands, whatever it is sending through the heartbeat, those things, they will stop until your name node is ready. Okay, through the commands in the cluster. See, the thing is, if name node is getting down, means it is a kind of the worst situation actually. Okay, what they will do, just to avoid the cluster to be down and to be accessible, they do have some external commands. That is like a, first they will take the entire cluster to the safe mode. Okay, what is mean by safe mode? Before doing anything, let's say, suppose, see, in our real-time environment also, you might have been faced. If server is getting down, what we are gonna do? Usually, normal scenario, just imagine whatever the project which you are working, your server is getting down. It's not being accessible. There is some kind of severe tickets, high priority, critical tickets will be raised. They will open the bridge. Something will happen, right? They will create the situation within. They will give the ETA. They will say the entire task related. We are completed this task, and it will take some time, like that. They will say, right? The same concept will applicable for the Hadoop administrators as well. But their first primary role is, first of all, they have to bring up the cluster by using secondary name node. If master node is done, at that time they won't care about all this 1 hour process, 3 seconds related process and all, but it will be recoverable within 1 hour. Okay, why? Because we are having a secondary name node as a backup. Immediately, whenever they feel that master node is getting down, they will perform the command to stop the things, whatever happening in a regular manner. They will stop that. The initial task is, first they will up, and they will allow only the read operations, just to read the Hadoop cluster, not to allow any write operations. Okay, until this until the fix is completed, they will allow only user to read the Hadoop cluster, not to write, not to update, not to do anything. Okay, that is nothing but they used to call it as a safe mode. Safe. See, you might have been observed while opening your Outlook. If it is getting crashed, sometimes it will ask, right, open in a safe mode manner. What does it mean by safe mode? You can able to read the emails, but you can't able to send the mails, right, from the Outlook. In your real time, yeah, same manner, Hadoop cluster, if something is going to down, Hadoop administrator will have the commands. I will show you those commands also, as we are the administrators here in our cluster, whatever the cluster which we are using as a training base. You can take the cluster into our safe mode manner. There is a commands. We need to execute the command so that the cluster will go to the safe mode. Safe mode is nothing but not save, safe. Let me write it. Okay, pronouncing might be safe mode. Okay, this is the one. Okay, in a safe mode, what they will do, just they will allow the users or clients to read the data. They will not allow the data, I mean, they will not allow to do perform any edit or write operations. By that time, it will be accessible to perform the production jobs, whatever. See, in Hadoop cluster also, again, there is a segregation actually. Okay, the cluster itself, meaning is cluster, right? We do have different cluster, dev cluster, okay, dev, UAT cluster, then prod cluster. Okay, this prod cluster will be always is very accurate and very configurable. Okay, this is like a hypothetical situation. If something is going to happen to your name node, okay, then only these things will happen. But in real time, so far in my 5+ years of big data experience, I never faced name node got down. But in production, development and UAT, it will happen very regularly, but in production, it will not happen like that. Okay.
So in that case, what I understood from you is like whenever the master name node is got down,
Yeah.
went down. So even backup, I mean, secondary name node will be active, but there won't be any operations apart from except the read activities,
Exactly.
right? In that case, there won't be anything, right? Just like a fetching the data alone, nothing
Yeah.
much.
Yes.
Okay.
Like that, they will. I mean, instead of losing everything, they will do like that. But the outage, they will take the outage about the cluster actually. They will send the emails to the users, everything. Don't perform anything, but you can access the production job as is, has to be run. But new things will not be accessible.
But when you say the production jobs running, right? So when you're running any jobs, maybe it could be anything, right? It could be accessing, I mean, writing,
Yes.
storing the data or whatever,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
But
those
that
jobs will
still be
fail.
performed.
Those jobs will fail. We need to
Okay.
restart once the cluster is up. That is what I am saying. That is the
Okay.
worst situation. Client also might understand, right? They need to be ready for the damage, but not much time. Something will be available instead of losing everything by using say secondary name node. But they will act very immediately. You know, right? The way, if you remember, even we were working together. We do have outage, right? While working in a mainframe, what we will do nowadays, whatever the jobs has failed, we are going to take a note. Once the outage is over, we are going to restart all those jobs, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Same concept here also it will applicable, but the thing is, it will not take much time, as we are having a backup of FS image. Within 1 hour they will activate the cluster. Meantime, it will be, see, there is a mechanism actually. That yarn concept, once I explained that yarn concept, this also interrelated, each and everything. Whenever the resources are not available, usually in normal legacy technologies and all, job will fail. But here jobs will wait for resources. It will not gonna suspend, it is not gonna fail. Like that, they will do the architecture. Same manner, whenever this name node is not accessible, the job will not fail. It will wait for the information to get. There is some time interval, 4 hours or 5 hours. Within the 4 hours, administrator will get to know why the information is not getting. They will see, administrators, it is a 24/7 role actually. To maintain the cluster, there are application master, resource manager, resource master. This is a very critical job actually. 24/7 administrators will monitor the health check of your cluster. That means through the logs, through the some kind of alerts, they will come to know whether name node is active or data node is active or name node is going to be down. They will get to know, they will sense of that, and they will act accordingly. This is the worst scenario. If it happens, secondary name node will come into picture. But most of the scenarios, 95%, it will not happen. Only the 5% is there. If it happens, then this is the possible solution.
Okay, got it, Srini.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This safe mode, all the commands I will show you tomorrow. One. And how about software, guys? Anyone tried?
Hi Srini. I have tried, but when I want to install the Collabora Quick Start, I couldn't do that.
It's a Cloudera.
Yeah, sorry, Cloudera. I couldn't install that. Like when I tried it, like I didn't see any virtual VirtualBox symbol over there or something, whatever.
Now, what you have to do first, you have to install VirtualBox. You will get the VirtualBox like this. This is the virtual.
Yeah, I have done that.
You have done it, right? Once you opened it, okay, as I already configured, it is coming like this. But you might have been seen as a plus symbol here instead of new.
Yeah, I have the new and plus also both I have there.
Yeah, you just click on plus, and wherever your VM is there, I mean, wherever your Cloudera installed, I mean, whether in a C drive or D drive, you have to choose that. Then you have to start. Okay, send me the screenshots, okay? Whatever you are facing.
Yeah, I have installed Srini, so
Uh-huh.
I think maybe I'm just waiting for instruction how we can do it.
Yeah, same thing. What I'm showing here is, okay, plus symbol will come here, okay. Let's say new. You have to just give some name, and you have to mission folder. You have to go here, this VirtualBox VMware, okay. Not this word. See, as I already installed, I am not getting here. Plus symbol will be there here, okay. In the plus symbol, you choose the software where you install. Here, you see my file location, okay, and the Cloudera file. Wherever by default it will connect. I mean, it will show wherever the Cloudera it is there. See here, Cloudera Quick Start VM where I am placing username. Okay, this is one VirtualBox VM Cloudera Quick Start VM. Okay, this is the file location. No problem. You try it. Okay, you guys can let me know. Okay, I will just share the screenshot. Whoever is facing issues, I will help you. But
That's what
once again-
I'm facing. Like the Cloudera Quick Start. That's I didn't get that link to be downloaded when you have given a link, right?
Yeah.
So when I press it, it's taking to the Cloudera website, but from there, like I couldn't see any VirtualBox mission symbol or whatever.
Is it so? Okay, let me check at my end. Okay, I will check today. Probably that is a software they might have been removed, or if it is not there, then what I will do, the software I will upload into Google Drive. What you have to do, you can download it and you can use that. Okay, I will check the possibilities. I will check the workaround. Okay, see, right? Cloudera is a pre-distribution previously. Now they are charging for trial version as well. Okay, that could be the reason. I will check that document actually. For last batch it worked. I will check it today. If it is not going to work out, then I will send the software. I'm not gonna send to you everyone, right? I will upload into Google Drive. From Google Drive, you download that and directly you can open the VM. Okay, then you can choose that file, and the way how I open right now, right? Same way you can open. Okay, I will give the instructions. Don't worry. First time it will take time, guys. First time it will take time to install. I mean to open, as it is a virtual, right? Yeah, Anjan, something you were asking.
Yeah, I mean from the link given by you, right? It did not work. So I think somehow I found that from YouTube, one of the then they have given the link. So with the same 5.13.
Oh,
I think
Can
when
you
we
please
click
give
on
us-
that link, it will.
can you please give
I
us
can.
the-
Sure. Let me paste it in our web chat.
Yeah. Give it to me so that I will paste in the document and I will recirculate again.
I just put this in our meeting invite, meeting chat, right? People can take it from there.
Yeah. Instead of that link, guys, you can use this link. Okay, I will paste.
Just you can check Srini if this is okay, because this is when you click on this link, automatically it is started downloading.
Yeah. 513.
It is around it is around 5.5 GB.
Oh my God. Oh, I need to stop immediately then. I already.
Oh, you click on that. It is 5.5 GB, Srini.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, that is what I got.
Srini, why you are downloading it again?
That's what I'm gonna stop it.
Okay.
Anyhow, we couldn't find the page.
Srini, one more question.
Yeah.
When you're configuring this VM, right?
Yeah.
What is the operating system we have to choose? I see in your screen you choose the Red Hat 64
That
bit.
will come as usual. Okay, don't choose anything. I did not choose anything. Directly it will come CentOS. That is the Red Hat.
No. can you go to that previous or open your virtual
The
machine box?
VM page, the
The VM
view
box.
he is asking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
View page.
Just
Okay.
I started.
Yeah.
nothing else
Here,
allowed on.
no. If you look at the second line, operating system, you have the Red Hat, right? Operating
That will come
system.
by default.
And
No need to select anything.
Oh, is it? Because
I think we have to select it in the document. You mention it as
Linux.
what is that? Not even
Ubuntu.
Linux.
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Yeah.
Ubuntu or CentOS, both it will work. Don't worry about that. Both are same.
Okay.
But your system supposed to be 64-bit and dual BIOS has to be there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If that
Yeah,
is the
because
case,
for
then
Jenkins, I have choose the Red Hat. So
Okay.
I just wanted to see whether there will be any
See, Red
difference.
Hat or Linux, both it will work. See, Red Hat is nothing but same thing only, right? Linux only. But
Yeah.
64-bit has to be there. Okay, you try. Okay, search in Google also. If you don't able to do it, do let me know. So I will help you.
Yeah. Yep.
For me,
Sure.
CentOS it's coming, right? So initial time it will take some time. Once it's open, long back I opened, right? In my previous batch,
Yeah.
that's what it is taking time. After
Yes.
that, it's gonna open as usual.
Yeah, I did configure that, and I provided the user ID and the password also. Created the user ID and password.
Okay. See, by default password is Cloudera and password is Cloudera. I mean, user ID is Cloudera, password is Cloudera.
We can use anything, right? Or
You
do
can
we
use anything,
need
but
that?
it's up to you. If you want to configure it, you can configure it. Otherwise, it's by default it's Cloudera.
Because, I configured it a different way.
Okay.
But it was not asking anywhere, right, Surendra?
It's not
Is it
gonna
asking
ask
anywhere like
inside. Once you go inside, okay.
Yeah, once you go inside that CentOS operating system, right, Anjan?
Yeah.
It will be asking for all the options, all the installations, not the options. Installations. There you will see one user ID and password. You have to create that, okay? And when you are creating, choose as admin.
Yeah, admin.
Oh, okay.
As admin. Or but you
Yeah.
have to use a sudo user. SU. Okay, this is how look like. Once you open Cloudera, it will open like this. Okay, this is our Cloudera manager and all. I will tell you later. Okay, this is the one we are interested. This is the terminal actually. Okay, as it is a Linux, right? As you guys already know about this. Okay, this is a Linux. Okay, normal Linux commands you can able to execute. The main home directory is home Cloudera. Okay. Here, if you have any Hadoop related commands, we have to execute like this. I will tell you that part later.
Srini, how will you get that previous screen?
Which one? This one, huh?
Can
Here.
Not this one. The Cloudera one you showed, right?
Once you open, you will get like that only. This is the one, right? This is the desktop now. Instead of Windows, we are gonna have the Cloudera directly. Once you open that software, once you install, first initial screen will be like this. Cloudera. Here only we are having. This is the Linux desktop. That Red Hat Linux desktop. This is. Okay. From here, we are gonna the command prompt. How we are gonna open in the Windows. Same way we are gonna have the command prompt here as a terminal. Okay. This is my terminal. Okay.
No, I am not getting it here. Okay, I have to check it.
Okay, you check it. Okay, tomorrow I am gonna take complete class about these softwares. Okay, and we will see. Okay.
Okay.
As of now, I am having only one Srinivas Reddy Cloudera. Here we may have different commands. Everything I will explain about the commands, where to see, where are the configurational files and all. Okay. HDFS-site XML I said, right? Those things and all we are gonna get it. Okay. I will show you that things. Okay. Under etc we are gonna have it. Where is etc? User local etc. I will show you once it started. Otherwise you will get confused now. Okay. I will show you how to do everything. Okay, and how to execute the commands from from local to there. I thought, is there any concept is little bit confusing? Can you please share the link? Okay, let me check it. Sir, this theory concept is little bit confusing. Can you please share the link to watch the video after completing the class? Yeah, sure, Mani. I will do that. Okay, guys, this is what intended today. Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna start this software related thing. Then I will show you the. I will explain some more concept about the architecture. Okay, that yarn architecture is also still pending. Okay, that part I'm gonna take it. Okay, and replication factor I'm gonna execute some more time. Okay, then we will come to the commands part where to see how to open the software. Okay, try to configure the software, guys. Okay, if you face any issues while configuring, do let me know, or through just give the screenshots what's the error you guys are getting. Okay, we will fix that. Meantime, parallelly I can explain the theory part as well. Fair enough, right? This, don't worry, the software and all I will take care. Okay, I will open, how to open, I will tell each and every step. Okay, first 1 or 2 days you may feel somewhat difficulty. Once you start using the Cloudera, once you habituated, it will be very easy. Okay, and we do have the web UI concept also. Instead of using this one, you can use the web UI also. Here everything will be configured. See here, you Hadoop, HBase, Impala, Spark, everything will be there. If you go to Hadoop, you will see here also, you can see name node, secondary name node, data node, resource manager, node manager also will come into picture. Okay, if you go to the name node, you will get all the information. Okay, here we are having a browse file system also. If you go to the browse file system, you can able to see all the files which are going to be placed in our Hadoop file system. This is Hadoop file system. See, these are the benchmarks, HBase, SOAR, temp, user and all. It's a Hadoop file system. See here, I am having a directories, Srini, Cloudera, Hive, Hue, all those things. I will explain each and everything. Okay, and block size, as I said, right? See here, the block size, the replication. Okay, who is modified, what is the size, all those things you can able to see here. Okay, that is under utilities you are having. This we used to call it as a web UI. Okay, Cloudera web UI. So don't worry, each and everything I'm gonna explain to you. Okay, root user, okay, user, root, all those things it will be there. Okay, I will explain each and everything how to use Cloudera in a very proper manner.
Srini,
Yes.
if you have a minute, can you access me the screen so that I can show you if someone doesn't know what's going on? Like, everybody can access the, you'll see the what error is coming.
Yeah, please share. Let me stop my sharing. And first let me stop my recording. Okay, I don't think it's required now. Okay.